Within the context of the industry, I do not believe that Dogecoin has been beneficial. On the other hand, I am not opposed to Dogecoin, I am interested in it, but I am not sure what the use case is. What I don't know is whether or not there are projects being developed to solve real utility problems. Because these new sorts of assets do not have any counterparties, they generate enormous efficiencies that allow banks all over the world to minimize the amount of capital that they would otherwise be required to keep. Could be utilized for Internet of Things. There are various bridges that can be used for situations like this. How come F-assets? On the other hand, F-assets is the only bridge that has been constructed with economic security that can be verified. But for a great number of people, it is not the issue at hand. The contrast between this and that is the focus of this discussion. And when you consider the distinction between this and that, you will see that. This blockchain was fundamentally developed with the intention of serving institutional-grade financial use cases throughout its development. It is therefore very inexpensive to carry out a transaction for the action of 1 penny, spending hours on Bitcoin. When compared to Bitcoin, our transaction settlement process is about 1,000 times faster and 1,000 times more affordable than Bitcoin. Aware of what you possess? Have a good time, brother. These are the XRP. Greetings and welcome to some additional news at Moon O'Clock. Thank you very much for the IDAS app. As of today, the entire worldwide market cap for cryptocurrencies is 2.68 trillion, which is a decrease of around 0.5% over the past 24 hours. We were able to get the 8th place for XRP, which is around 50 cents. $1 gets you 2. Stellar XLM at the 9 of the clock. $10 get you 10. At $69,000, we were able to get Bitcoin. Ethereum is around $36. We were able to acquire Flare Networks for approximately 0.027 Axelar for approximately 83 cents. We were able to get Songbird at 0.01 XDC 0.036 at around 10. And 11 cents we were able to get Zahal. Nearly 21 and 20 cents for Evernote to get things off the ground. We purchased one from CoinDesk. I'm not anti-Dogecoin, but I don't know what the use case is for Dogecoin. We have Big Brag all in-house, and he says that he doesn't think Dogecoin has been a good thing for the industry. The United States of America, which has the greatest economy in the world, is ranked in the bottom decile of regulatory clarity, which is something that I find astounding. The genuine unlock of the United States economy and the real institutional money streaming in, I believe, will make it difficult to foresee some of the opportunities for the upside. I believe this to be the case. The most important issue, however, that I will emphasize is, where exactly does this go? It is imperative that we delve deeper than mere supposition. I can tell you that I get a lot of. Regardless of whether or not I say these things, I will say them anyhow. Within the context of the industry, I do not believe that Dogecoin has been beneficial. And I have no problem with Dogecoin. However, it's like, I have no idea what the utilization scenario is. What I don't know is whether or not there are projects being developed to solve real utility problems. In addition, I see a great deal of genuine utility across a great deal of different chains. According to me, that is the most important thing. According to me, the prognosis for the next 10 years should be about, and it should not be about guesswork. The goal is to find solutions to actual issues. Who among us has utility coins? Where can I find your wallet? There were decreases in XRP. This is the Phoenix view of the earning of value, which was developed by Chris Larson and Ville. You are supporting systems that make sense, such as interoperability, and you are supporting digital assets because, once again, the cryptocurrency is the digital assets, regardless of what you choose to call them. Additionally, they play a significant part in the fact that once the plumbing is in place, new sorts of assets that do not have counterparties are created. The Internet of Things might be utilized to produce enormous efficiencies that would minimize the amount of capital that would otherwise be required to be retained by banks all over the world. Just to reiterate, once you have that infrastructure in place, it is quite likely that the majority of payments will be made between machines. Therefore, once you have solved the problem of the developing globe, you will also have solved the problem of the Internet of Things. It is clear that there has been a significant increase in the number of transactions. In addition, this is a significant factor that drives the demand for digital assets, which regulators and banks are beginning to catch up with at the moment. We have Mario in our possession, a piece of legislation that would require the cryptocurrency industry to identify users in order to avoid sanctions was introduced into the Senate to be considered. Regarding the most recent financing package for intelligence, a select committee exists. The proposed legislation would make it possible to automate the process of penalizing foreign digital asset transactions for facilitators, which would include exchanges that are associated with individuals who assist terrorist organizations. Members of the staff of Senator Mark Warner have been meeting with the representative of the industry in order to establish whether or not it is possible to exclude it from the final version of the national defense. There will soon be a crackdown on cryptocurrency in the United States. It is explained by Hugo that we have xrp, Flare, F assets for XRP, and Bitcoin. The community has a lot of queries that I've received. My inquiries are directed toward me. With that being said, perhaps we could begin with the launch of the open beta for F assets. Tell us about that, please. It's cool. So for those who are just tuning in, let's begin by defining what F assets are. As you may already be aware, we are now working on projects that are referred to as FXRP and FBTC, to name just a few. There are undoubtedly additional potential F assets. Nevertheless, we are concentrating on FXRP and FBTC. What exactly is that, I wonder? There is a bridge in F assets. It is a bridge that allows you to use your token from those networks that do not have smart contracts on the flat with smart contracts and therefore with decentralized applications dApps, such as DeFi and. Also for payments, you could do payments, for example, perhaps less applicable to XRP, but certainly applicable to Bitcoin, making payments that are very cheap and very fast as well. However, the fact that you can utilize either your XRP or your Bitcoin in DeFi is a significant justification. However, in reality, there are alternative bridges that can be used for situations like this. How come F assets? On the other hand, F assets is the only bridge that has been constructed with economic security that can be verified. Everything else is dependent on some kind of trust, and if you don't have enough level of trust, you won't be able to properly comprehend the economic stability. Let's call that FSM. The black swan in the sake of capitalism, the BRICS nations are waving farewell to the petrodollar used by the United States and saying hello to gold and other commodities. We are getting ready to employ XRP as a global reserve settlement and mechanism to improve economic independence and financial stability in response to the tensions that have been occurring in the West. We have prepared the XRP ledger to accept tokenized gold, silver, and Q3 transactions. In the year 2024, the assets of gold and silver will each be equivalent to 1 gram of precious metals. There will be no restrictions on the amount of gold and silver bullion that may be exchanged for it. There is an expectation among the community that additional gold-backed stablecoins will be published on the XRP ledger shortly. Ripple publishes a gold and silver token on the XRP ledger, and Melt Gold partners with Ripple to launch a gold and silver token. Q3 tokenization inventors Melt Gold team up with Ripple. Because of the partnership, we are now a fintech company. 3 new stablecoins will be released by MedGold on the XRP ledger. These coins will be backed by gold and silver. According to an official release, each token will be equivalent to 1 gram of precious metals that are stored by MKS Pampin and Imperial Vaults, which are the 2 most prominent custody providers within the industry. The moment has here, and MelGold is going to visit the XRP ledger in order to acquire additional information regarding this innovative move that will be taken to deploy tangible reward assets on the XRP ledger, created with XRP. In addition, we are pleased to present MelGold, the digital gold solution of the future. A revolutionary riches is on its way to us, and we have the United States debt clock surrounded by wealth and money from the United States. The best is yet to come, specifically TikTok. Sky News has just admitted that the official inflation figures does not adequately reflect the significant increase in cost due to the fact that we have just received radar hits. That is the crisis that is the expense of living. All of a sudden, we move from having pricing that were close to that to having prices that were there. And by the way, you don't really notice that in this data, all right? Mainly due to the fact that inflation is essentially quantified by calculating the difference between that and that. In addition, if you take a glance at those 2 lines, you know that there has been a shift of 2.3%. Today, we are going to be discussing that particular number. But for a great number of people, it is not the issue at hand. The contrast between this and that is the focus of this discussion.